Ever since the Utah Jazz sent Rudy Gobert packing in a trade that netted them a massive haul of picks, Donovan Mitchell trade rumors have dominated the offseason. Many teams have called the Jazz about Donovan Mitchell, but the Knicks have been ruled the favorite because they have the best collection of assets, and Donovan Mitchell will reportedly love to play for the Knicks. Both teams reached a stalemate in trade discussions, but with pressure on the Jazz to trade Donovan Mitchell before training camp, and with the Cavs backing out of trade talks, it's looking more and more likely that Mitchell ends up on the Knicks sooner rather than later, probably before the start of next NBA season. A Donovan Mitchell trade would make the Knicks a team capable of making some noise in the East, and in this video, I'm going to explain why. But before we continue, I'm trying to hit 15,000 subscribers before the end of the year, so if you enjoy the content, please like the video and hit that subscribe button. In order to break down how good the Knicks will be with Mitchell, we have to look at what pieces the Knicks will give up. About a week ago, the Jazz rejected a Knicks offer that was Evan Fournier, Obi Toppin, and 5 first-round picks. From what's been reported, the main holdup in trade talks have been the number of unprotected draft picks included in the trade. So if and when a Donovan Mitchell trade goes down, this is possibly what the trade package will look like. Assuming the Knicks only give up Evan Fournier and Obi Toppin as players, this gives the Knicks a huge talent upgrade without sacrificing much depth, which is huge for a team that won 37 games last season and finished just outside the play-in tournament. Donovan Mitchell will replace Evan Fournier as the starting shooting guard. It would give the Knicks one of the best players in the conference. Mitchell is one of the best shot creators in basketball, averaging 26 points and 5 assists per game last year. His ability to create his own shot, drive and finish at the basket, and create for others would be a breath of fresh air for a Knicks offense that finished just 19th in offensive rating last year. Next to Donovan Mitchell in the backcourt will be Jalen Brunson, who's coming off an excellent year in Dallas. Brunson is a quick, shifty point guard with a nice handle and a very strong frame. He's a very good scorer in isolations, while also having the ability to create good shots for his teammates at a high level. With Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson, the Knicks now have 2 ball handlers that are both efficient scorers and good playmakers, which will drastically improve the Knicks offense. This is a world of an upgrade over last year's backcourt of Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. A question with the addition of these two is the fit with RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. Both RJ and Randle like to have the ball in their hands a lot and take a bunch of shots. Last season, RJ became a high volume scorer for the Knicks, taking 17 shots per game. In order for this to work, Barrett will need to embrace more of an off-ball role. RJ will have to look a lot more like the 2020-21 version of himself, where he was a very good wing defender and a knockdown catch-and-shoot three-point shooter. Julius Randle will also have to sacrifice, as he's been the Knicks' main offensive initiator for the past couple of seasons. Randle will also need to take more catch-and-shoot jumpers, do more screen setting, and actually commit himself on a defensive end. He showed in New Orleans that he could be very efficient in an off-ball role, and with Donovan Mitchell on the team, that's how he's going to need to adjust his game. These 4 will need some time to develop their on-court chemistry, but once they figure it out, the Knicks can have one of the better offenses in the NBA. One of the main concerns with this team will definitely be defense. Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell are both small guards, and neither of them are particularly good defenders, and Julius Randle also isn't committed on the defensive end. Thibodeau is definitely going to have his work cut out for him getting these guys to put more effort on defense. A silver lining is that the Knicks did finish 11th in defensive rating last year, largely thanks to Mitchell Robinson's defensive presence at the rim. If Thibodeau can get a collective buy-in from this team, then the Knicks should be able to at least be passable on defense. So with Donovan Mitchell added to the core, where exactly would the Knicks rank in the Eastern Conference that has become very competitive in recent years? They're certainly not ahead of contenders like the Bucks, Celtics, and the Miami Heat, and they're probably also behind very talented teams like the Nets and the Sixers, but besides for those 5 teams, the Knicks arguably have as good a chance as anybody. With Donovan Mitchell, the Knicks could potentially finish as the 6th seed, but if not, they should at least be a lock for the play-in tournament. But if the Knicks make the playoffs, they won't be an easy matchup with Donovan Mitchell as their best player. Mitchell is one of the best playoff performers in the NBA. as he's averaged 28 points and 5 assists per game for his career in the postseason, and has some incredible performances, including 57 points against the Nuggets in 2020 and 45 against the Clippers in 2021. Jalen Brunson is also a high performer come playoff time, averaging 21 points and 4 assists per game last year for a Dallas Mavericks team that got all the way to the Western Conference Finals. So with Donovan Mitchell, not only would the Knicks be a winning team again, but also a serious threat to get out of the first round. Thanks to the smart decision making of Leon Rose, the Knicks are well positioned to land Donovan Mitchell in the near future. He doesn't alone make them a title contender, but he once again makes them relevant and will make them desirable for other stars that went out, giving the Knicks a chance to one day contend. For a fan base that has suffered with losing season after losing season, a Donovan Mitchell acquisition would give them a lot of reasons to have hope. But now I want to hear from you guys. Do you think Donovan Mitchell puts the Knicks back in the playoffs? Where would they rank in the East? Tell me in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like on it and subscribe. It's also been recently reported that the Knicks could be shopping Julius Randle. Click this video to see if Randle will get traded before the start of next season.